Welcome to the third video in the series on my experiences in using the Kinesis system. So we're going to follow up on some items from previous videos, and then we need to go back and take another look at the Depositors Yield. The first follow-up item, I mentioned, we're wiring money into the Kinesis system, and my bank charges $45. I don't know what yours charges. Kinesis charges $5 to receive the money. That's expensive. Don't get hung up on that. So I think this is a short-term situation. If you look at a video on the Kinesis channel on YouTube, about a year ago they interviewed management and they're working on this. So I think we're probably going to end up with, I'm not sure, but I think we're going to end up with e-checks, electronic checks, right, as a cheaper way of moving money into the system. So, because right now when you wire, you have to kind of have enough money to make it worth that overhead. But I think that's going to change. So don't let that be a roadblock to you. Just stick with it here. All right, the second point is, in video 2, I deposited monies, got set up, but they do have a delay in issuing debit cards. And the reason is they're switching banks, right? They're going to a bank that has more features, such as maybe the electronic e-check deposits like I just discussed. But this new bank is going to have more features. It's a temporary thing. Today, if you sign up in Kinesis, in early January of 2022, you may not get your debit card right away, but that's a temporary thing too. So don't get hung up on that either. All right, third thing is, in my last video, I made my first purchase of KAUs and KAGs, gold and silver, and I only owned those tokens for just a couple of days at the end of the month, but I actually earned a holder's yield. A tiny little bit. I didn't own it that long, but this is a really good feeling. I mean, if for those of us that stack and collect gold and silver and such, to be able to actually have more gold show up in your account every month, this is really cool. This is really cool. I like it. I like it. Another thing I want to mention is I did set up a Minters account. And they just this week they've changed it now. So you log on to Kinesis.money and you click on minting and you can get to the minting section. But anyways, but you do need to do a one-time linkage from your minting section to your Kinesis money. Now here's why. You don't have to store your KAUs and KAG tokens inside of the Kinesis system. You can mint them, basically, purchase gold and have that token that represents that gold and store it in your own wallet. If you're a crypto person and you have your own wallet that you love and all that, you can do it that way. You don't have to use Kinesis.money. I personally am using Kinesis.money. So anyway, so I did that one-time linkage. They do a security check. It's not instant, so they do a security check and make sure that you're the same person on both minting side and the money side, and then they approve it, and then you're able to do the minting. And now for the Depositors Yield. I'm thinking of Kinesis like a bank. Right at my bank, I have a savings account and I have a checking account. In the savings account, I save money, hopefully earn a little interest. And in my checking account, I have lots of deposits and lots of spending going through there, right? You have the same situation here with Kinesis. Now, on the savings side, you have you buy KAUs and KAGs, right, representing gold and silver, and maybe the emerald one, which, as you know, I have a thing about. I want to get the emeralds. And from that, you earn the holder's yield. Well, the holder's yield is kind of a parallel of what you would earn on a savings account at your bank, right? You deposit your money and you earn a little bit of interest. Well, that's kind of what the holder's yield is. Now for the spending side. So the way this works in Kinesis is you deposit money, right? You bring your money into the Kinesis system and then you mint it, meaning that's the point where the Kinesis people say, okay, we want to buy gold or silver or whatever, and then they get that physical gold and silver and they say, this is yours. Boom. Okay, that's that minting process. So, and also you can also send in your old gold and silver and they'll convert it to the tokens for you. So anyways, that's minting. Once you've minted it, you have KAUs and KAGs. Well, then you can spend those using the debit card or spend them by buying Bitcoin or sending money to your friends overseas. right? So that's the spending. Spending is not exactly always using the debit card, but you're going to deposit, mint, and spend, and then that money is gone, right? You've brought it in and you pulled it back out of the system, but you're going to still earn that minter's yield. That's the beauty of this thing. You're going to keep earning the minter's yield even though you've spent that money. So now how does this work? Well, do it again, right? Deposit more money, mint again, spend that money, and now you've got 2 deposits that are earning yield. And eventually you'll spend that second block of money, but you're still earning the yield on that second deposit. Do it again. Deposit more money, mint, spend, earn yield on 3 now. All right, eventually you'll spend that money. So now you do it a 4th time. You bring in a 4th bucket of money and you'll spend that. So you've got this repeating cycle here, and what you're doing is you're building up the amount of money, the amount of gold and silver that you have minted on which you will earn a yield. Now let's think this through. Over time, we expect more people to come into the Kinesis system, and if you only mint once, you know, let's say you bring in 200 ounces of silver. So in today's money, that's what, about $4,700 US. So you bring in $4,700, you spend it. Well, if that's all you do, over time, other people are going to do minting, and your proportion of the pool of the minter's yield is going to gradually shrink. So how do you offset that? Well, like this slide shows, do it over. Just keep doing it. Just spend your money through Kinesis. Deposit your money, mint it, spend it. Bring in more money, mint it, spend it. Do that over and over, and what will happen is you could, you know, approximately you should maintain your proportion of gold and silver that have ever been minted in the minter's pool. So that's the secret here, is keep it going. Now, in my bank right now, I use a credit card, get 2% cash back, pay it off every month, get the 2%. I do have an annual fee which, you know, offsets a little bit of that. Now, I've done this for a long time, and I know how much I'm getting in cash back every month. I have a pretty good idea what that is. So I'm going to watch this minter's thing here. Now, the trick here is this thing is going to build over time. You bring in 1 block of money, spend it, you're earning a yield. You bring in a second, it's going to add to the yield. And so this amount will grow, but it's going to be offset by other people, you know, adding into the pool. So I'm curious to see how this will compare to my 2% cash back. My guess is if I keep bringing in money and keep spending it with just normal expenses, I think I'm going to very easily blow past the amount of money that I'm earning in my 2% cash back every month. So let's check the status on here on my plan. So here's the plan I've talked about on 3 videos now. I've done setup and verify account. I did have to do another setup and verify cycle for the minter's side, which is done, easy enough to do. I did my initial deposits. I've started earning the holder's yield, and now I'm attempting to get my debit card. I do have that delay I talked about. I am meeting with my sales representative from Kinesis. I assume you'll get assigned one as well when you join up. And I have a meeting scheduled, so I'm going to try to get more details on the timing of that. Also, I'm going to discuss number 4 here, how to get my hands on the Kinesis Velocity token, and also get some idea on the timing of emeralds. So when I get those answers, I'll pop in here with another video. And finally, this is the slide where I talk about why I'm using Kinesis and why you might want to use Kinesis. I have modified it a little bit here. So, you know, I talked about yields on top of appreciation here, number 3. Well, now I know that I can earn yields by holding gold and silver in the system, but I can also earn yields by spending money through the system using the minter's yield. All right, very good. Oh, and there's this thing called the velocity yield, and I'm still trying to get more information about that, and that also is related to this concept of spending money through Kinesis. So we'll talk about that as we go. There's so much here. I did want to say, though, that so far I'm delighted with the Kinesis system. Everything I thought it would do, it does. And I tell you this, it's just getting that holder's yield, or they're just literally the amount of gold and silver I have is increased by doing nothing, just letting it sit there. That is just an amazing thing. Plus, I've had some appreciation in the price of gold and silver since I bought it, so I'm up, right? And this is really, really cool. So, at least measured against US dollars. Okay, how many times have I said this, right? You know that the God of all that is loves you very much. What are you waiting for? Go for it. Have a great day.